Welcome to episode 21 of Echoes from the Arena. This episode, we've been going back and forth, and we've decided on let's get to know Joe Brady. Um, I'm going to put, and also because we have no choice now. So, Joe Brady, elevated from offensive coordinator of the Buffalo Bills to head coach in the past 2 days. And let's start talking about Joe Brady because, like I said, we don't have a choice, Dad.
We do not. And I like the way you started it because in listening to Joe Brady, when the Bills began the interview, he was told by Brandon Beane that the interview was going to be like they knew nothing about Joe Brady,
I
even
believe
though
he
he had
said, like,
worked with them.
pretend like he was the OC of the Green Bay Packers. He said at
Exactly.
his press
So,
conference
so
yesterday.
so they need to get they wanted to get to know Joe Brady, the real Joe Brady. So that's how the interview went. Even
Allegedly.
yeah, allegedly, and then even to Josh was coming from the viewpoint is I don't know you, even though it's hard to do because they spent, I'm sure,
Hmm.
many hours together in the building. But it was an interesting approach to an interview, I thought. So kudos
Yeah.
to the Bills.
Um, I don't know if I'm ready to give them that after the shit show last week, but
That was quite a debacle.
which I don't know that we talked about not our last episode
Oh, we did not,
because I don't think it
and
had happened yet.
didn't happen.
Yeah.
But
They get
the
that flux capacitor working.
right, the good news is the I thought Joe Brady's presser yesterday. Um,
His
the,
opening comments were very sincere, and
mhm.
I like to hear. I guess if he sounded anything other than that, I would be concerned,
Yep, yep,
or more concerned than I already am. But it is hard for me to argue if he had these credentials and was coming from another team with a high level quarterback.
right, right,
Are you viewing him the same as you are because he's in your house?
right, right. Yeah, yeah. Well, that's definitely a a concern. But
If you take that approach, it does change a little bit about how I viewed his hiring.
right, right.
I think this is no secret. I think you and I both thought it was going to be Brian Dable.
Yep, yep.
So I guess I was a little surprised there. I guess I really just didn't think that. I guess I didn't know that they thought that highly of Joe.
I didn't either. And listening
So
to
that's why my initial shock at his hire, I would say.
yeah, yeah. I was well, again, once again, I was a little surprised, but I wasn't because I think I told you, I think this team I think this team needed a little continuity going forward, but they also needed continuity to a degree, and then they also needed a little bit of a new direction, which I think in listening to what Brady had to say yesterday, they'll
Hmm.
get that. It's not going to be a continuation of, obviously it's not going to be a continuation of Sean McDermott. Um, he was what I like about Joe Brady was very, very complimentary of Sean, spending obviously the time here coaching under him and what have you. But
Right.
and he did move on and started talking about his vision,
Right.
which obviously was very much, according to Joe, was very much part of the interview. Very not a part. It was pretty much the backbone of the interview.
Yeah.
And did you happen to see it's on the Bills site? him speaking to the staff before the presser. They had the
I
entire staff assembled,
I did not.
and it was really a good speech. Very, very, very pro Buffalo. Um,
Oh, are
you
you
know,
talking about his opening remarks?
well, part of his remarks he also said earlier in the day,
Oh.
because he did meet with the staff, the support staff and everything, the office people before he did the interview or before
Mm-hmm.
he did the press conference with the media.
Mm-hmm.
And he was again very pro Buffalo.
I
Wanted
mean,
this job. He wanted this job in the worst way. So you got to listen to it, but it was good.
I think for him acknowledging that he's from Florida,
Pembroke Pines, Florida. Yes.
um, and that, he understands the importance to the fan base,
Hmm. Hmm.
which I think people desperately needed to hear.
Yes. Yes.
Um, and I think being able to digest it after 48 hours. This was a McDermottectomy.
Yeah, it was. That's a good way to describe
And
it.
I think that of all the guys on the staff, yeah, he was probably the one most ready for that job, considering Sean took over defensive play calling duties.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and I do think that, if you're blowing up your whole front office right smack dab in the middle of Josh's prime,
Right. Right.
man, I I would hate to lose seasons because the front office is in shambles.
Hmm. Hmm.
So,
I also think,
so there's some continuity, but there's also a fresh, young, energetic guy who has been calling plays for two
right.
years
Right.
for two very successful offenses that I would like to see never run a goddamn bubble screen again. But, um, you know, I would like to see them expand a vertical passing game, but to do that, roster needs some work.
Mhm. We've talked about that. I know they do need that number one receiver, and hopefully that's part of the plans. He but
I'm not even asking for like a top 10 number one. Just get me like someone who's definitely a number one.
yeah, and as we mentioned, I don't know if it's going. I don't really.
Because they're gonna flourish with Josh. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
look what
yeah,
Diggs did.
exactly, exactly. Yeah, even if you even during after after Brady spoke, J- Josh spoke, and
Yeah.
as we know now, he didn't say anything after. He didn't do his traditional end of the season press conference because he was having surgery on a broken bone in his foot, his right foot.
Hmm. Yeah.
So he did talk yesterday, and even the way he spoke, he just seemed uh, I'm not saying relieved, but he seemed rejuvenated.
Yeah. I felt
Obviously
that
he
a little
was
bit.
very dejected.
He still blames himself for this game.
He does, and
But I
a
think it's
leader will do that.
right. Exactly. The leader will fall on the sword.
Exactly.
Uh, but I think it's up to his teammates to lift him up.
Hmm.
And I think
Yeah.
that maybe
Yeah.
that's part of why you saw that there were some other guys there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there was a good representation. We had
People from all sides
Spencer
of the
Brown
football.
and uh, who else was there?
I'm
Spencer
sorry if you're not a
Brown.
Bills fan for this episode,
Yeah, but
but
we got to talk
this
about it.
is unfortunately what we gotta kind
Well,
of
that's what
talk
we
about
got.
because of where we are, and this is catharsis.
But his tone, I just like the again, and in his press conference, he also spoke about, Buffalo, the importance of the
This
team
this
to the community,
franchise to the community. Yep.
Bills Mafia.
Hmm.
He insisted that though he was from Florida originally,
Right.
he
That's what I was mentioning earlier.
was married in Buffalo.
Kids are born in Buffalo.
His kids are Buffalonians. They were born in Buffalo and they're going to continue to be Buffalonians. And so I think he definitely understands the mentality of the Buffalo fan and the Buffalo psyche.
Well, it's really the fabric of our community.
Exactly,
Whether we like it
exactly.
or not, it has become it.
And I always say that the fans epitomize the fans, and you know that being a fan and observing other fans, and
Hmm.
fans, these fans work hard. They like to play hard. I mean,
Yeah.
they put in a hard day's work. A lot of them are living paycheck to paycheck, and they're
Hmm.
still buying the
They're still
tickets
buying the
to
tickets.
go to the games. Now with the PSLs, some fans are
Like a,
splitting tickets because they can't afford the PSLs, which is
yeah,
kind of a
getting
shame, but
priced out. It's
I
shitty.
understand why they're doing it.
I
But
know why they do it, but
yeah,
it's a shame that it's going to affect that guy or
but
that woman.
it's yeah, but it's so much a part of the community. The only I'm only
And if you don't live here, it's hard to explain the magnetic nature of it.
it's
And
the only other fan base that would understand us are the Packers fans
probably,
because they're also like the stadium is actually in a suburban community. I mean, you're
well,
living behind Lambeau Field and all that. So I
so
think
is
that
ours.
yeah, exactly. Um, and maybe the Pittsburgh Steelers fans also, because I look, there's a lot of similarities between our backgrounds and what have you with
And
the old,
steel mills.
blue collar work ethic type of thing.
Mm.
So, but I think Joe, what
And
we're
by the
getting at
way,
it,
for 2 straight weeks, it's been a wind chill of below zero. So,
there you go,
just in
there
case
you
you're
go.
wondering why I have a toque on my head,
And it is a
it,
toque. It is called a toque.
it is out of necessity. It did have a palm on it, but the palm came off. I have no
That's where
idea
it's
where
a
it
real
went.
toque, the pom pom,
Well, it
or
had
whatever you
one,
call it.
but I'll have to get one. Maybe Jen
That's
could
for you,
sew it on for
that's for
me.
your pond hockey, uh, what have you.
Hmm.
But I think what we're getting at, the reason we're going into the makeup of the fan is I think Joe Brady has really tried to
He's got to sell himself
talk
to.
about that.
He's
Yes,
got to sell
yes.
himself to the fan base.
And according to Josh, he is a hard worker. He's there almost constantly.
You know, he
And
talked about the sacrifice that his wife
yeah,
has to
oh
make,
yeah, yeah.
and it's real.
It is
We
real.
we
It is real.
we know enough people that were close enough to that to know that they're there for ridiculous hours. Yes, they are very well compensated, and yes, the facilities are probably beautiful, but they're there and often sleep there.
Well, I could tell you a funny story. I don't know if I ever told you this before. So your Uncle Bill, who was a longtime Bill's employee,
Hmm.
uh, rose up to a senior VP position.
Hmm.
Um, so when you were younger, I used to go and meet him for coffee on Saturday mornings.
Well, I know about that.
And then we used to drive so
Oh,
not
hold
every
on.
Saturday,
Whoa, we
but
had a
yeah,
little butt.
uh, but not every Saturday. But this particular Saturday, we had coffee, and then we went to the stadium.
Hmm.
So we got to the stadium probably around 10 in the morning. Bill had some work to do. There was a home game the next day. So we're in his office, and he goes, "Hey, G man, you want a cup of coffee?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll have another cup."
G-Man was your nickname at the
Yes, that's my
time,
nickname.
and
That's my nickname.
still to this day,
It's not that
actually.
I'm a Giants fan. It's that's
No,
just my nickname.
nor does he work for the FBI.
Nor do I work for the FBI.
Yeah.
That's my nickname. But anyway, we're walking down to the coach's wing of the building because that's where there's a kitchen.
Hmm.
So as we head down there, we hear this rumbling in the hallway, and who comes out of his office? Marv Levy, who
Mm.
very disheveled, uh, because he had just gotten up.
He slept on
So,
the couch.
Bill said, "Hey, coach, did, did, did you sleep here?" And he said, "Yeah, yeah, I was there late, so I just got a blanket and went on the couch and fell asleep." So he was wandering down to get his cup of coffee.
When they were
So,
doing it back then, they're definitely
yeah,
doing it now.
that's the life of coaches. They are in season. It is a very I'm sure it's very stressful for the families,
Hmm.
especially if you got kids, especially if you got small kids.
Yeah.
But that's just the nature of the beast.
Yep.
So so anyway, Joe Brady epitomizes that. And
Hopefully.
I do think I'm only speculating, but I do think there's more Joe Brady's offensive mind than what we've seen. So
You have to imagine they
I'm
talk
excited.
about that.
Hmm. I'm sure they
And
have.
it's not exactly us having, you know, 3 yards in a cloud of dust. It was a very effective running game that often got chunks of yards. And we know that that part of their offense doesn't need to be fixed.
Right, right.
Continue innovating, but it doesn't need to be overhauled because it was the best in the league last year. Or, well, I don't know if they had the top total rushing yards as a team, but they did have the number one rusher in
Yeah, I
the
don't know
league.
if that's a good question. I don't know if they did have the
Be
total
honest, I
yards,
don't.
but
They might have
they
because
might because you
Davis
you
had
look
a
at Ray
couple,
Davis and
and Ty Johnson
Ty
had
Johnson.
a couple. They had like a
Ch-
big game or two.
they got chunks of yards, and Ray Davis finished the year, I think, kickoff wise. He was a top kick
Top
returner, right?
returner. Yeah,
And he did break one, I know, during
he's
the
very good
against
in that
Houston.
and at kick returning.
No, is he?
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm sure he was quizzed considerably too about his defensive ideas because that's where the problem lies.
Yes.
And I haven't heard anything today regarding, I don't know if you have, regarding a defensive coordinator.
No, we have two names that I've heard as rumors.
And what are those names?
Those names are Jim Schwartz and
Okay.
Jim Leonard.
Okay.
Jim Leonard, well, Jim Schwartz was the former defensive coordinator for the Cleveland Browns, where his defense was on the field way too long,
Yes.
and subsequently probably wasn't as highly ranked as they should have been, because they were very effective, obviously, with Myles Garrett, considering he's just an absolute freak of nature.
Right, right.
And then the other name is Jim Leonard, who is what is his title? Is
He's pass defense
passing defensive coordinator
coordinator. Yes.
for the Denver Broncos, who had a
Right.
very good defense this year.
And to segue from you're talking about the Broncos, one of Joe Brady, mentors is Sean Payton.
Mm.
And he worked with him in New Orleans.
New Orleans, yeah.
And so he learned a lot under Sean. And he is an amazing, Sean Payton. I don't know if he's still there. I don't know if he obviously is a generation behind these guys now. I'm
Hmm.
talking about guys like Sean McVay and Matt LaFleur,
Yeah.
and what's his Kubiak,
Mm.
but Kubiak the son, but not Kubiak the father.
Yeah. Clint
But he
Kubiak.
at the time he had a very innovative offense and a very good coach, and so he learned with some great people. Also worked for Ed Orgeron, LSU.
Who's a
So
psychopath, by the
he
way.
talked like this. He talked like a Marine Corps sergeant.
I heard a story about Ed Orgeron that I would
We got to
like to
tell the
tell.
story because he's a character.
I guess later in the season, they were playing down to their opponent,
Right.
and Ed comes into the dressing room and apparently took his shirt off in the middle of the dressing room and said, "If anyone wants to come at me, come at me."
I could see him doing that,
And nobody came at him, and
and
they
I
went
wouldn't want to
out and
mess with him.
they went out and they kicked ass in the second half.
You know, he reminds me of. I don't
He's
know. I know he's from the South somewhere. I don't know if he's from Louisiana, but
mhm.
he could roll and fight an alligator. He's just a mean
Literally
badass.
probably could. Just
Yes,
the way he's built too. He's kind of built like an alligator.
he is. He's like no neck. He's just a
Yeah.
crazy man. Probably a little bit of little bit of Cajun in him. I don't know.
Yeah, there might
But
be
he,
more than that in him.
yeah, but anyway, but so I don't think anybody mentioned this yesterday, but he coordinated the offense for Joe Burrow when they LSU won the national championship.
Yeah,
So he's got the pedigree, and I just thought,
that's kind of a big one I didn't think of. I mean,
yeah,
granted, they were super talented. I think his two wideouts were like two guys who are
well,
one was
Jamar Chase was one, right?
Jamar Chase and Justin
Yeah,
Jefferson,
so think of those two on the
two of
field
the
at the
top
same
three
time.
receivers in the league.
Even
But
Bama couldn't stop them, and that's
yep,
that's when Nick Saban was at his peak, and he
yeah,
couldn't stop those
didn't
two.
matter. Burrow had 50 touchdowns that year.
They probably had some other guys that were missing as far as guys coming
Oh, they
off
had
the
a
bench.
bunch. They had a bunch.
So
But remember, Joe Burrow wasn't Ohio State caliber.
I know. Couldn't make it Ohio State, Urban
Yep,
Meyer.
Urban Meyer, jackass.
We are going to do a show down the road on great icon coaching icons and
He's not going to be on that
two
list.
coaches. Well, he won't be there. I'm going to say. I was
No.
just to say two are Woody Hayes, Bo Schembechler, who were
Hmm.
classics.
Right.
Um, I know we're getting off topic, but like Woody Hayes, I got to tell you this, Manny. Woody Hayes would go out of his way to not buy gasoline in the state of Michigan. That's how much he hated Michigan. So,
He might need he might have needed to get into a program or some sort of
yeah, well,
anger
he
management.
unfortunately his temper got the best of him because he hit a player,
He hit a player, and that was the end of it, right?
linebacker from Clemson in a bowl game, I believe, and that was the end of the road for Woody Hayes. So,
Literally
but
had to go
but
into a program for
but
anger management
yeah,
and didn't.
but but anyway, what I'm getting at is, yeah, Urban and I will not be on it because he obviously totally missed Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Now I'm sure they had somebody that's as
Sure, they
good,
had somebody great at the time, but
but
they did win the national championship that year
yeah, yeah.
or that
But
night when
anyway,
he left. Anyway,
but back
but
to Joe Brady.
back to Joe Brady, he was the offensive coordinator of that super high powered offense. Um, yeah, that I think ran the table in the SEC.
Yeah, yeah, they're
Yeah.
undefeated. Yeah,
Mhm.
and it's funny because you don't hear much about. Yeah, they have a good program. I'm talking about a college program called William and Mary. I'm sure some of you people have heard of William and Mary. It's in
Is it
Virginia.
Pennsylvania?
It's a school in Virginia.
Oh,
It's
it's
in
in
Virginia, I
Virginia.
believe.
Okay.
But three coaches now come to mind that played at William and Mary. Joe
Hmm.
Brady was a receiver. Sean McDermott
Yep.
and Mike
And Mike
Tomlin.
Tomlin.
Yeah,
Yep.
so there you go. So uh, I actually, when I was getting ready to go to school, college, I was looking at William and Mary. We were down, it's actually in Williamsburg, Virginia. So we were down in Williamsburg, for a vacation, and we toured the campus. So, but it's unusual that, that's, I don't want to call it a small school. I don't know the FCS or what.
But they have three coaches out of
They have
30,
three NFL
three
coaches.
out of
It's kind of interesting.
32. You have
Yeah,
11% of the
exactly.
coaches in the NFL. Well, not McDermott right now, but I'm sure he will get another job, and I'm reasonably sure Mike Tomlin will coach again, but probably, not this year.
Right, right.
But to even have three in the history of the NFL, there's still a
That's
relatively
amazing,
low
really.
number. That's quite
And
quite a
it's
bit.
really it's not a, I know they call the MAC conference the cradle of coaches because a lot of coaches came through the MAC schools, like Miami and Bowling Green and the such, Kent State. But yeah, William and Mary, the tribe, that's their nickname, the William and Mary tribe. So they
Hmm.
are fortunate to have two coaches that are proven winners in the NFL, and one that we
Well,
surmise will be a
we
winner.
hope will be.
He has all the makings. I was talking about it
Well,
the other day, man. I don't know if you were.
we'll see that when I see the product on the field with
Yeah,
the
exactly,
consistency.
exactly. I just think he was ready to be a head coach. I think he interviewed last year for a few teams and
I
didn't get the
didn't think he
job,
was
or
ready,
you didn't
but
think he was ready this year,
I wasn't. I didn't, but
or for next year.
I wasn't. I didn't think he. I thought he was still a year away,
Yeah.
and I thought it wasn't going to be here because I
Oh,
didn't
there you go.
expect
Yeah.
McDermott to get fired. I expected them to make a change at offensive
Yeah.
coordinator.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
But this idea that the offense is not relearning these concepts either. Like he's going to add some, I would imagine, and different formations. But
Well, that's where the continuity
there's
comes
a
in. That's
yeah, there's a
uh,
foundation there that isn't
yeah.
going to change. Like there are certain
Right.
plays that you're still going to run that you were running when McDermott was the head coach.
Right. Like I said last night, I think we'll see more, 13 personnel, which isn't anything new. Certainly
Yeah,
Sean McVay uses it a lot with the Rams, and
yeah.
so it is out there with this young crop of coordinators. But I think we'll see that. We certainly have the tight ends that we can certainly do that, and but I think you'll
But
see some
I
other
want to
things.
see. Well, let's talk about some of those things. Um, some of those things are an offense that we can't really run right now
Right. Right.
because of some deficiencies at certain positions.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
Mm-hmm.
just call a spade a spade.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, I put that in Brandon Beane's corner.
Yeah. Yeah.
He made his comments at the beginning of last season, you know, and in the media here, at
Yeah.
least. I don't know
Yeah.
if you got the hubbub down there, but he went on GR and basically, I don't know, was very defensive and
Yeah, I
like
did see it. I saw it on
you
the
did.
Bills.
Okay.
I scour the Bills site every day during the season, so I did see the tape of his rant on GR,
Yeah.
and I thought it was condescending. He claims it isn't, but I thought it was, and
He can claim whatever he wants.
because
It's
the
how
GR
people
guys have a
take it.
job to do, they have a job to do, and
Sorry, they have to ask you a question. And yeah, they've asked you a question a lot. And fuck, look where we are. We probably have the 30th ranked wide receiver room in the league. Or
Mhm.
fuck, if we were last, I wouldn't be shocked. But
I
you
wouldn't be
got a
shocked
wide
either.
receiver room who, in my opinion, has one
Is your
player that you can rely on to, be a playmaker, and it's not at a position where you're getting down the field a lot.
So the good news is Joe Brady has a running game. It looks like our O line's intact.
Yep.
The obviously Cookie had the was the leading rusher.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just
Jimbo.
said earlier, we have two other very good running backs. So, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
assuming they'll all be back. So we got a running game. So that's important. So now all Bean's got to do is find us a few receivers. Now we have some. Obviously, we have I think one of the best slot receivers in the league
I
with
agree.
Shakir.
Who gets a lot more attention than he should be because
Well,
there's
exactly.
nothing on the outside that people are all that concerned
Could you
about.
imagine if we had a true number one receiver and how much less attention he would get?
He's gonna get stuck on a linebacker
Because
quite often.
there's only so many people on the other side of the ball that can cover
And on
people.
first
And
down, maybe an extra
if you,
linebacker's out there on first down. If we had the running game that we had this year, which everything is still there for
right,
that
right,
part.
right.
Um, but yeah, I know you said that, and it may not have been on here, but maybe on the phone on the way home, that you thought they need like a number two also.
I think so too. Yeah, I think so. I'm just not totally impressed with our wideouts. I just yeah, Cooks made a difference in a few games. But he is an aging receiver,
Yeah,
you
maybe you
know.
bring him back at like the
But
veteran minimum if he wants to come back
yeah, I wouldn't
and
have a problem with
compete for that
him
fifth
back.
wide receiver spot.
My gripe is some of the receivers he signed, you see him, you see him in a game or two, and then they're a scratch or they're hurt. Like, Palmer and Samuel, they've spent more time hurt than on the
I
field.
still think
So,
the jury's out on Palmer, in my opinion. I think he could still be a fine number two if you had a bona fide number one.
well, they do have him under contract.
Yeah, for 2 more years.
So 2 more years, so he will be around. So yeah, he could turn into that number two. I'm not saying he can't. Um, but
And I think he'd be more successful if he's, an effective number two, but you don't
mhm,
have a number one. Well, guess what?
right.
Now maybe you got the number one on you.
That's that's where I think we missed that true number one because what
Yes.
he takes away from a defense.
Mhm.
They have to cover him. They might have to bracket him. They might have to, do something,
And
and
as
then that
much
helps
as
everybody else.
as much as you and I like the tight end room,
Hmm.
none of those guys are good enough to draw that kind of attention.
No,
Like
no,
like Kansas City didn't need a number one because their number one was a tight end.
not exactly. Yeah,
I mean, Kincaid, in my opinion, has the tools to do that, but he's not on the field enough.
right, right,
And this team needs other teams to feel danger on the boundaries,
right, right.
and they really don't. Josh can get it there, but can they catch it?
Yeah, yeah,
Can they catch it if it hit him in the hands? And I
yeah.
don't know. And we don't know who's going to be in the wide receiver room, but that's an area that oh, we need some good news at this offseason with that because it's been a glaring deficiency. I would imagine that it's the first thing on their list to try to rectify. And the methods of doing so, you and I have talked about off pod.
Hmm.
You draft or you trade.
Yep, yep. Have to look at a list of free agents. However, we're kind of
It's a little cash strap
we
there
got a
on
little
the.
cash strapped, yeah, with
I mean, get creative
the
with the
cap.
cap. I don't give a fuck. Pardon
Gonna
my
have to.
French, but like the Rams did it. You can't do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Come on.
And they don't have the figure yet, right? The cap figure for this
No, they
coming
don't know what
season.
the cap figure is going to
So
be. But,
that will
you
change.
know, okay, so I guess this is the time for me to launch in my tirade about what they should do with the draft. And I'm saying trade picks, trade picks for roster players.
Hmm.
Bring people in that fit within the salary cap, or you get creative because that's your goddamn job,
Right, right,
is to know how to circumnavigate the cap to a certain extent if needed to get those extra two or three guys that take your roster from uh conference championship caliber to Super Bowl caliber.
yep, yep,
And yeah, it's not just that. It's also hitting on the picks that you do make in the draft and developing guys properly. And, having people have breakout seasons. So yes, there's other parts to that, but there's also that part.
right, right.
Okay, I'm off my soapbox.
What else I was saying? I think it was last night where Bean checked one box. I I liked the Brady hire, even though I wasn't expecting it. But this was after I heard him and he said all the
Mhm.
right things.
Yeah.
His next box is going to have to be in preparation for the draft. So that would be the scouting.
I think it's DC.
Or the DC, yeah. Well, that would be yeah, that's true. That would be the
Make
next.
sure they get the DC
That
they
would be the next
want
box
and
is the
not the
DC.
DC that's left for them.
Right, right.
And there is
So,
some talent out there, so I'd like to see
so
them take care of that in the next 24
and
hours.
then
And then on to the draft.
the draft, yes, because
And
we've got
maybe
the
those first two picks you don't make because you traded them for players that
yeah,
you could
it
get
could
on your
be.
roster.
Right, right.
And one of them better be a goddamn number one wide receiver.
I just want to, jump on it as soon as possible because you've got Josh who's going to be 30, right?
Yeah.
So, yes, he has a lot of years left, but let's not squander it. Let's
Hmm.
let's get some people here that
And we
are
don't
good at
know
what they
how
do.
long he's going to be as mobile as he is.
Well, exactly, exactly. So
Though I mentioned earlier that I don't know if I told you this, but I thought he was losing like a half a step, like
that's very
around halfway
possible.
through the season,
Yeah, yeah.
but only to find out that
Well, yeah.
he re-aggravated an injury that he had already had, and this re-aggravation caused a break in the bone in his foot. So, yeah, you might lose a half a step with a broken foot.
I think he had issues. I'm trying to think. He did address it when it happened. He did mention the Browns game, but I think that's when he maybe broke it.
I think that's when he broke it.
So I think did,
I'm
did he get
curious.
didn't he get nicked up in the Houston game?
Well, you might be right,
But that would have been after midseason.
or close to midseason.
Yeah, because
And yeah, he might have cracked the bone, and maybe it wasn't broken, like
right,
fully broken.
well, he definitely wasn't the same Josh in the latter part of the season and the you
Just
know
seemed like he'd get caught by the shoelaces
yeah,
when normally
yeah.
he'd get away, and now that makes some sense.
But yeah, so he's 30, he's going to be 30, and you want to while he's still in his prime, you want him to be able to do what he needs to do to get to the Super Bowl. So
No,
you've got to bring the pieces in. It's as simple as that, and
and
not rocket science, as they
mortgage the
say.
future if you have to, because this is your window
Well,
now.
this is the window. This is it. So you know how long it took us to get a quarterback between Jim Kelly and Josh Allen. So franchise quarterbacks, this
Like
good don't come
17
along.
years.
I know it was a long time.
And that's after Kelly was good. I'd argue like after 96, eh,
That's why it's kind of phenomenal the way the Packers were able to one
just
right
go
after
from
another,
one right after another, three in a row now.
But that doesn't happen for everybody.
No.
Um, so yes.
All right. So I think we did touch on all the things we wanted to touch on regarding Brady. And, when we come back together for the next episode, we might have some news regarding defensive coordinator. And hopefully we have some news regarding, I don't know, a roster player getting traded
Yeah,
onto
yeah.
our roster that
I'm not
plays
sure.
a boundary position on the offense.
When can they trade? Is there any time constraints
I'm
regarding
not aware of them not being
before
able to
the
do it now.
official season begins
Oh,
in
well,
March, is
no,
it,
they
or
can't do it
something?
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. But it's not
I think
long.
it's March
It's
1st.
right around the corner.
Yeah, no, it's pretty soon.
Yeah.
Um, so and since this is a Buffalo themed show tonight, we
Well,
also got
that'll
to.
hold on. That'll tell you how much I'm tuned into the Super Bowl. Is I forgot that there's still another game in the season,
Oh,
and I
I know,
figured
I know. I
should.
pretty much have put that to bed. I pretty much have put football to bed this year. I just really will I watch the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Probably. I do. I am intrigued with Seattle.
Okay.
Um,
Let's both say what we think is going to happen in this game.
I think
In
Seattle will
the
win.
in the big game.
I think Seattle will win. I think Seattle has just too many pieces, and they do things really well. And I think Drake May will have some issues. So,
Okay, I'm going to build on what you said and say that I think not only are they going to win, they might win going away.
hmm I
I
wouldn't be
think the
surprised.
game's -3.5. I would have put the line at like 6.5 because
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think Seattle is going to slaughter them
yeah.
because of a few things.
Personally, the two best teams in the NFL played last week against each other, Seattle and the Rams, I think.
Yeah, true. Um,
I just don't think the AFC representative I don't think they have what they need to
well,
beat
I was
Seattle.
about to say why I don't think that they do because the Patriots had an easy schedule this year. They feasted on a lot of shitty teams.
hmm
Not that we didn't feast on them as well because we're in the same division, so we're playing the same cross division and the same division that's within our
Yeah.
conference. Granted, we're playing the first place teams and they were
hmm
playing the fourth place teams.
Yeah.
Now, we'll see how they do next year when they play all the first place teams. And if they can continue to put up numbers like they did at the pace this year with a much more difficult schedule. So I don't know that they're completely battle hardened because not only that, yes, they beat Houston after an epically shitty performance from CJ Stroud, and then they walked into the conference championship game to play against a backup.
Well, but even you go one game earlier, Justin Herbert looked horrible.
Right.
So he
Like,
was
but well,
terrible.
his line looked
That offense
atrocious.
is totally anemic.
Yeah.
The and then like you say, CJ Stroud looked really bad. And then you play a backup. So
So
they got a
what?
little bit of a little luck there going.
Yeah. I
And you
think the
know,
two teams that were most likely to beat the Patriots played each other in the division round between Buffalo and Jacksonville.
yeah, I think those are probably the
I
two
think those were
best
the
teams.
two teams that w were bad matchups maybe for the Patriots.
How uh just an opinion, Maddie. How do you think the
And if I
okay,
catch
so
shit from Bostonians, I don't care.
well, I
Take
don't
your
care.
rings and cram
I don't
them.
care. Um, how much do you think the seeding presents an issue? Like, okay, so Pittsburgh is a fourth
Yeah, I
seed,
get it. I
which
know.
kind of throws the seedings
Yeah.
in off skew, kind of.
You should still be guaranteed a playoff spot. You just should seed them, but based on the record, right?
That's what I would. They really these yeah these seedings do not work the way they're doing it. And it's, it's the same arguments in the NHL. If you win your division, or it changes the seeding, isn't it? Doesn't it?
Oh, I don't know.
Like if you do the 8 teams per
I don't know it well
conference.
enough.
Oh, there's some questions there about seeding. So,
But I think the initial seeding in the first round, in the wild card round, quote unquote, of the playoffs, I think that needs to be looked at by the
well, it needs to be looked at because it's
competition
not a
committee.
fair, yeah, it's not a fair seeding.
And
If you got the,
I'm not saying that because of the Bills. I think it's kind of silly how what? Yes, us, but also who is fifth? Houston and the Chargers
Mhm,
all had to
yeah,
go on the road. Okay, I can understand us and but Houston has a would have a very big gripe there
yeah,
that
yeah,
they had to go to Pittsburgh. Well, and that game should have been in Houston.
yeah, yeah. The
Not that they showed themselves that much better than
no,
Pittsburgh,
they
but
did. I was gonna say something. I forget what I was gonna say now, but
take your St.
about
John's
that.
wort.
Yeah, I know. I don't can't remember what I was saying, but it was about seeding again. But
Hmm.
um, Cannot
But yeah,
remember.
yeah,
Cannot
but
remember.
it's got to get looked at. But
Definitely.
I think we were talking about, or recently in this conversation, we were talking about the draft
Yeah. Yeah.
and, you know, areas that we would want to probably target in the draft, I think is linebacker, safety, defensive line again.
That's what I
Although
was
I
telling my
think defensive tackle, I think maybe they have some depth there now.
but there's areas definitely to address, yes. Safety, I think, is a big one. But that we need one more safety, whether that comes from the draft or from a veteran player.
Hmm. Yep.
I like to see a veteran there because it really is a position that you really, really
We need someone that can jump in and learn the
need the
system and
experience
go.
of seeing things, seeing offenses and what have you.
Yeah.
You know, obviously we had two great ones, and age caught up with them. So, but I like Cole Bishop. I think he's come along really nice.
Hmm.
He's grown a lot this past season. He's reading the play. He's getting to the ball.
But they're
I
not, they
was
don't have the other safety
I
position.
was talking. I was t telling my buddy Warren there from Toronto about the Cole Bishop interception in the Jacksonville game.
Hmm.
I said I was so happy to see that because when I was coaching defensive backs in Georgia, we had we do that we always did the tip drill in our Indy area where we work on skill development. We always
Hmm.
did the tip drill, and
What did you
and
guys say when the ball was in the air?
we didn't. What did we say? We didn't say much. Or we just said ball, ball, ball. Basically, that's what it was. It wasn't anything clever or anything. Um, Clever was on the punt. On the punt, we always yelled when the punt hit the ground and it was bouncing around and it was Peter, Peter, Peter. Because he don't touch it.
Yeah.
And but for the yeah, for the defensive backs, it was just ball, ball, ball. But what I was getting at is at Cole Bishop, uh, I wanted my defensive backs. Okay, so we were mainly playing zone.
Hmm.
So, but as soon as and sometimes we had a cover two, or sometimes we had a cover three. But because we ran a 4-4 defense, so we had
Hmm.
eight in the box pretty much all the time, and then the three DBs.
Right.
But we had that lone safety and a cover three. But as soon as the ball was in the air, I always instructed my defensive backs, especially on that side of the field, you are going to the ball. You are sprinting to the ball. And that's what Cole Bishop was there. And obviously that was it. That
Isn't
sealed
it?
the game. He
Doesn't a
floated
cover
the
three
ball.
have to have three safeties?
Yeah, we had two corners. Well, our two corners and our safety dropped back and split the field in thirds. And then our backers
So
were
you're turned
underneath.
into three safeties.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Or yeah. Okay. So the
yeah.
corners are dropping back as deep as the safety
Right, right. But that was just, that didn't happen every week. We just saw some very unique offenses in Georgia. So,
would.
um, but it was the old tip drill. It was that tip drill, and
Yep. Somebody was there to make an easy catch and just kneel down.
it it worked. I remember it. It worked in a game that we had uh, where we had worked on the tip drill. For some reason, we had worked on the tip drill a lot that week, and we were in a game. We got into overtime,
Hmm.
and um, we had scored, so we took the lead. And the other team, the high school rules where every team gets a possession, much like the college rules. And yeah, the old tip drill worked. QB throws the ball Wideout went after it, tipped it up in the air.
Worst
Our
thing you could
safety
do,
came in, picked
knock
it
it down.
off,
Catch it or
won the
knock it down.
game. I remember. Coach, he came over and says, Coach, the tip drill.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's why we do it.
for instances like that.
Exactly.
All right, we're rambling. Um,
So next show, I want to talk about the next show. We're gonna do the well, we talked about it
yes,
last week. We're
we
gonna
did.
our Super Bowl show. So we're gonna be talking Super Bowl history of Super Bowl. We each got a game that we feel turned the Super Bowl from a game, just a game,
Into a
to a national institution.
institution. Yes.
And I think I think the next day, that Monday should be a holiday because everybody is everybody is
Hopefully there's
wasted,
a
hungover.
hopefully there's a caravan going from One Bill's Drive just after this time next year.
I hope
Um,
so.
that would be lovely.
It would be the probably the parade of the century, maybe
Or a
two
couple
centuries.
centuries, yeah.
I know, I know. I don't know if they
Yeah.
had parades. I'm thinking, I don't think I'm sure they did something in 64 and 65 when the Bills won the
Oh,
AFL
probably,
championship.
but it was probably like
I
very
don't
much
remember.
localized
Like we didn't do
downtown.
anything. We didn't go anywhere. I did. I was lucky enough to experience one in Atlanta when the Braves won the World Series
Mm,
in
yeah.
21, and that was crazy. The entire city, schools were closed. Everything was closed down. And
To date, that is still one of the hardest balls I've ever seen hit.
I know that was amazing. Solaire.
Mm, yeah.
Uh,
So,
that's an example of a baseball being hit, taking the steam out of the other team.
yeah, it totally sucked the
Because
life
when
out of
that thing
them.
went out of the stadium.
Because it was kind of like it was like a machismo thing to me, it felt
Yeah.
like.
Oh yeah.
Like it's like you're gonna throw heat and I'm gonna deposit it in the upper deck on the left field.
2 home runs impressed me in all my years of watching baseball. I'm sure there's
Hmm.
more, but the two that impressed me was that one.
Hmm.
And then the other one didn't really have much of a psychological bearing because it was in an all-star game. But Reggie Jackson, when he was still with the A's,
Mm.
hit a home run in Fenway that hit the right field light standard
Mm. That's pretty high up there.
up in the lights. I mean, it's almost like the scene from The
The
Natural.
natural. Yeah.
So it was really that was if it didn't hit that light, that thing would still be rolling down the street in the
That's
Fenn
when
section
you
of Boston.
yeah,
So
I thought you were gonna say wasn't it Mark McGuire that hit that ball
yeah,
at Skydome?
yeah. Yeah. Oh no,
That
that was Conseco
oh was it Conseco?
that hit the roof. Yeah, yeah.
Well, that
That
one
was a
hit the
bomb too.
roof, but didn't somebody hit a homer? Or no, it couldn't. Yeah, it must have been Conseco because I'm thinking like, well, why would the other teams be playing at Skydome? But was it that ball was still traveling up when it hit
Hmm.
the roof?
Yeah, yeah. I did see some amazing home runs
Crying out
at
loud, how far
Skydome.
would that have been?
There was also, or it's Rogers Center is called now, but
Yeah.
we know it as Skydome. Mike Greenway, who was a played for the Red Sox in the
Yeah.
80s, hit
I,
a literally. You've been in Skydome,
mhm.
so there's a restaurant out in center field.
Yeah, it's way out there.
He hit a. This is how it was so amazing. He hit a line drive, hit a line drive home run, hit the restaurant. So that was amazing. I've never seen a ball that low go that far.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's definitely a low launch angle, but that thing, and
I
it also
think
got out of the ballpark so fast.
I think since then somebody has actually cracked the glass in that restaurant.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, could be wrong, but I thought I heard that. All right, let's
Yeah.
sign off before we ramble our way into a
Okay.
whole other segment.
Oblivion. Okay.
Yeah. Um, so we're going to discuss what next
Super
episode?
Bowl.
Super Bowl, the history
Super
of the
Bowl
Super Bowl,
episode.
and our once again our thoughts on what games we thought. We each picked one game,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
it kind of jives with what generation we're in. So
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
we'll have some fun talking about that. We may have some other Bills stuff to discuss. Hopefully, like I said, defensive coordinator and wide receiver, and maybe some other signings, and we can maybe discuss a little bit on the draft. And then we have some ideas for an episode after that, but we're going to keep those close to the vest, as
Sounds
they
good.
say. So,
That's right.
for Greg, I am Matt, signing off for this evening. Have a good one. Go Sabres.
Go Sabres.